What is up, guys? NYK31 here, Madden 18, going over zone coverage changes for the first title update that just came out yesterday. From what I gather, this is basically EA releasing their 2 weeks into Madden release title update a little bit early to account for the hurricane. And by the way, if you're out there tweeting and raging and wishing death and destruction upon EA employees and their families over a game, you are everything that is wrong with humanity. You're a social reject, a loser of the highest order, and were likely unloved by your parents as a child, possibly even abused. But be that as it may, um, we're going to go over basically what happened in this patch is that the good news is they tuned and improved the responsiveness of both the deep zone defenders, as well as improve the drops of your curl flat and your cloud flat defenders to deal with those pesky corners and out routes. Bad news is that we still have a ways to go when it comes to coverage leverage technique playing out and getting a good combination of both the coverage logic and the technique to replicate it playing out in a manner that's realistic and visually, pleasing at the same time. And it's also going to explain why, compressed sets like gun bunch, shotgun tight, deuce close, wreak havoc with the zone coverage logic. If you can't leverage a route, you can't defend compressed sets. They'll completely dice you up because you're instantly giving up the advantage that the coverage leverage is supposed to give you. Coverage leverage is a basic concept. You can't play pass defense without it. All you're really doing is leveraging receivers and routes toward your help. That's the whole point of it. Here, the Seahawks are aligned in their cover three press at a single high. This is cover three sky out of a press alignment. And Seattle does this down after down after down after down after down. They're the patron saints of zone coverage and cover three in particular. It's all they play. They play cover three and they play cover one. That's virtually it. And what disguise they do is the technique in which they play it. They'll either play sky, buzz, match. They'll play robber out of too high and drop cam transfer down post snap. They'll mix and match the techniques of the outside corners. They'll either be playing out of a press alignment and play a physical press off the line of scrimmage, or they'll play a bail technique where they're opening up with leverage toward the sideline to protect against the fade and the deep out. They'll have one corner pressing physical, one corner bailing, both corners pressing, both corners bailing, and they'll either be playing cover three, sky, buzz, or match with everybody else. So, default assignments and responsibilities. You have your hook zone defenders looking to gain depth in their drops to 10 to 12 yards. Your curl flat defenders in a 2x2 set like this. The responsibility is twofold: to obstruct the release down the seam. One of the great no-nos of zone coverage is allowing free route releases down the middle of the field. You cannot have that under any circumstances. It causes a host of problems. Go look at the Pittsburgh Steelers versus New England Patriots playoff game last year, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Sorry, some F-ball critic, but yeah, your Steelers do that quite a bit. As do my Jets, but I digress. Once they get a hand on and reroute the receivers, gain width and depth to their curl flat zones. Corners. Regardless of the technique that they want to play, whether it's press or a bail technique, your help is inside. So what you want to do is redirect the outside receivers toward help. You don't ever, 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 ever want to allow an outside release. You want to play on top of the fade, you want to play on top of the out. You are vulnerable to the deep comeback because a good deep comeback route, the receiver tries to sell the streak, uses the corner's momentum against him, and snap it off underneath him. Now, of course, a savvy corner who plays with good technique and has, quick feet and fluid hips, he can mitigate that some. That's a general premise of it. And here we have Sherm and Mr. Brock. And of course, your single high defender, he is Earl Thomas, Area 29. His job is to identify post and seam. He defends the deep middle all by himself. He's got to have range, he has to have instincts, he has to identify post seamers and play to close down those routes, as well as also play with enough depth to give help on the streak route to the sideline and break on that if need be. So I'm running play action deep outs. We're going to have a post route run by Sterling Shepard, a square in by Mr. Harris, and deep comebacks by Brandon Marshall and Odell Beckham. And everything's on default all pro here. I had the play clock off as I lab in play now mode. Like I always say, practice mode tells lies. So, we know the assignments, we know the design of the coverage, we know the leverage outside that needs to be played, so we'll see how it plays out. Slot, redirect, don't allow free release on the seam, hook zone drop to his side is very well done here. What the redirect does so we'll see how this plays out. Start the inside receivers first and we'll work outside and take a look at that. No free release down in the middle of the field. Redirects. Funnels him to the hook zone defender. He drops at his depth, carries to appropriate depth. And what the redirect does, what denying a free release does, is throw the route timing off and force him to have to work around the hook defender. Look how much harder he has to work to get into his deep post. Pre-update, he'd get down there free as a bird. On the other side, the square in, Cam does not get a release on him, but at least the hook zone is there to bracket. I'd like to see Cam get a hand on him as well. That route's pretty much done. So we'll go back here to this side. See how much longer I have to hold the ball? Now I like to see Earl. The deep safeties are still drifting too far. What I'd like to see happen here is Earl play a flat foot read at first, eliminate the threat of the quick passing game. Once he makes a flat foot read, then start into his drop. that will put him in closer position as opposed to this far where he's just drift, 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 drift. Right here, he should be clamping down on the possibility of this guy breaking free. Right now. Now the ball's out. Now he starts breaking. And I try to throw the low and inside pass lead. He's able to come down and converge on it. And break it up. Now, I'm going to just run a couple of examples real time. I did a whole video live stream on Twitch on this. I included the link below, parts 1 and 2. The stream cut out about an hour and 20 minutes into it. So that's why it's 2 parts. But I did this against a wide variety of coverages, all forms of cover 3 and cover 2. I didn't really get to cover 4, but you know the same rules would apply. I just want to flip this to get Earl up top and hope that Cliff Averill does not kill me. And you know, they do a much better job of converging on it, and it's going to turn that into a catch and traffic scenario where it comes down to the receiver's catch and traffic rating versus the abilities of the single high defender to close based off his play rec and zone coverage and all that good stuff. I'm trying to throw it with a low and underneath pass lead as well. Here comes... Pass rush was tuned as well, by the way. You know, you have Cliff Averill out there. DJ Fluker getting his tail kicked. 73 pass block. Against one of the best pure speed rushers in the game. 93 finesse move, 81 power move with good speed and acceleration. He's a problem. You know, so we're 0 for 3 on that. We're 0 for 2, rather. We're just going to go for it here. Again, this is just for demonstration purposes. That was Chancellor. That time he hung on to it. So here's a replay of that last one. This time I have Cam, and I didn't flip it. I have Cam up top. Earl is in the curl flat along with Jeremy Lane. I get the jam and reroute by both of them. Now again, what I want to see here, rather than have him drift as far as he drift, have him make a flat foot read first, then begin his break, or then begin his drop. That'll make him a little bit closer. And or have him start driving on this post route right now. The ball's out, and now he starts going downhill. And it's faster. No doubt about it, it's faster. And it turns into a bang bang play as opposed to what you used to be able to do and just throw it underneath him with a low and inside pass lead and possession catch it and be safe as safe as can be. Now on the outside corners, not as good. Again, what did I say before? In this defense, first of all, there's no jam out of zone coverage in this game. So if you're going to be playing a press bail technique, you want to leverage the sideline, cut off the outside release, play on top of the fade route. This is a deep comeback, outside release, and as you can see, leverage is already broken right off the snap. It's just a straight skate out there. So if I was playing a hard flat or a cloud flat, I can still hit the deep comeback and the deep out against this all day. Leverage is immediately broken. There's no way in the world he can contest that route from this position. It's impossible. Can't be done. What he should be doing, he should be bailing out of there at the snap and leveraging the sideline. Sherman does the same thing. And Sherman is the best at the league at this technique. He is a master at using both his footwork and his body positioning to force a receiver to release wider than he wants to. He's a master at pinning guys to the sideline and playing on top of the route. That's why he's able to play in this scheme, despite not being, a Patrick Peterson-like burner. He has impeccable technique, and when he does decide to play with a jam technique, he's one of the more physical corners in the league. He's hard to get off of. What they used to do when they had Brandon Browner, they'd have Brandon Browner mug the guy on one side and have Sherman usually play a bail technique on the other, and it was really, really hard to beat them outside. You were either forced to throw underneath and get your receiver cracked by all this traffic, or you were forced to test, Earl deep, which was a high risk proposition. It was a very tough nut to crack the way they played and the personnel that they have. But you see right here again, leverage is thrown completely out the window, free outside release. The only thing that saves his throw from being able to be made is that the curl flats will sink on it. But any other technique played by the curl flat defender, such as a cloud flat or a hard flat, will leave this throw wide open. A cloud flat will at least muddy it a little bit. He'll play in between any deep breaking outside route and an underneath route. Let's say if I ran a out pattern with this guy here, he'd play between the out pattern and the deep sideline route and then close on the out. But if it was hard flat, he'd commit to the out fully and leave this corner out to dry. And because he's playing with bad leverage, it'd be an easy completion. Here's corner strike, and we're going to play hard flat, cover 3 hard flat. Now in this one, they're not aligned in a press technique, they're aligned off. Friggin' Averill again. And by the way, I don't want to hear any bitching about insta-shed or OP pass rush. That's an elite speed rusher going against a ham and egg right tackle who probably shouldn't be starting and maybe shouldn't be in the league. Let's get some help there. Again, better recognition and closing speed masks the faulty technique there. The good news is they close on it faster. The bad news is He needs to be playing with better leverage to, if the receiver runs this route, he's running it right into him, as opposed to having to break on it from inside out. This is why compressed sets like deuce close, shotgun tight, and gun bunch are such a pain in the behind to defend in this game. The leverage is given up so fast. The routes tend to get open on one side of the field or the other right away. Ball's already out here, so ignore that. But we'll test Sherman. We'll test Sherman here in the next rep. Ugh. Avril again. Slide protect toward him. Again, good news, bad news. Good news is they're closing on it faster. Bad news is the technique needs to marry the route recognition. Now, to be fair, this corner route does start out with an inside release, so that kind of disguises his intentions. But once he breaks out, you close. Sherm didn't really play through the receiver there in that rep. Let's try it again. Yeah, that's better. So, you guys get the idea. We're getting better route recognition and better breaks on the ball, but we need better technique so that our corners aren't getting out leveraged. Because you'll see it, you see it there on the corner strike, and you'll also see that still play out against these overpowered compressed sets. And again, I did a whole live stream on this. Click on the links below and give it a watch. I did, all variations is cover 3 sky, cover 3 cloud, I didn't do cover 6, but I did cover 3 press, cover 3 match. And I did, against 4 verts, against Z spot, level sail. I did cover 2 as well. And, found some pretty interesting stuff as far as that's concerned. So give it a watch. Love to hear you guys. I'd love to hear what you guys think, and I will talk to you all later. Peace.